Hello everyone and welcome to this, another episode of 2D Prototyping in Unity. My name is Kasanas. In the last episode, we added the last of our game features as far as characters or objects are concerned. I'm not going to add any more of that right now. We are in the final leg of this game development. We've got ourselves enemies and obstacles and moving characters and etc, etc. We're down to our last few episodes now, guys, and what I think we're going to take a look at in this episode is what happens when you die. Alright? When you die right now, we get our blood spurt, and that's it. But what do we want to happen? We want something to happen. We want something other than just a blood spurt to happen. Alright? So in today's episode, guys, we're going to take care of that. Let's get started. Okay, guys, so let's start this off by taking a look at what happens when we actually die. Alright? Play. And fastest way to die, let's run over here. Oh, take some damage. Run. Let's fly off the end. Boom. Alright, so we saw a little tiny red dot appear there. That was the extent of our bloodiness. And that was the only indicator that our game is over. Nothing else has happened. Nothing. Alright, and that can't be the case. Obviously, if we're going to have a game and we're going to die, we have to let the player know that they've actually died and that they're going to have to either start again or quit. Alright, so let's do that right now. There's a couple of different ways we want to do it. We want to make sure there's a visual representation of the fact that our character died. And that's really relatively easy to do. We're going to go into the character. Let's see what I've already got open here. Into player health, perfect. We're going to go to player health right here, and we're going to add a couple of lines of code right here. We're actually going to make a few lines of code in here, but the first thing I want to do, we've already got it set up so that if our character gets hurt, we flash a damage screen on the screen itself, so the player understands, oh, I've been hurt in some way. So why don't we use that first of all? Let's use that as an indicator that something has changed, something is bad. All right. What I want to do is I want to take the, well, let's see what I called it. I don't remember. I called it damage screen and what's the color? Damaged color. All right, perfect. So let's right away, what we're going to do, instead of flashing the color, let's put it on the screen and just make it a constant color. All right. We're not going to have it go through and do the update where it changes the damage. We're not going to set damaged because it's not actually damaged. He's dead. So we're not going to actually set damage. What we're going to do instead is just take our damage screen dot color, and we're going to set it equal to our damaged color. All right. So right away, what's going to happen is it's going to go in and it's going to set this thing to its full brightness. Let's save that file, save, and let's check and see what happens now. Play, run, jump, run, and jump. Boom. All right, great. So right away we say, okay, something's changed here. We still didn't do anything awesome. I mean, we know now that something's changed because we've got this bloodiness around the screen. But did my game freeze? I don't know. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to go through and give them some kind of better indication. And we're going to do that through the use of our GUI. We're going to go back and take a look at a handful of GUI options in this episode. Once again, we've already got our GUI in place. We're just going to use the existing GUI for now. We're going to use the player HUD canvas, and there's no reason not to. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add, well, first of all, let's focus on this. Let's focus on it, F, and let's zoom in a bit. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into our player HUD canvas with it selected, and we're going to say create, and we're going to add in a new UI element. Let's add in a text element. All right, and once again, we want this thing to kind of fill the whole screen, so we already know up here, this magical button, we're going to select it, hold down Shift, hold down Alt, and we're going to stretch it both ways across the screen. All right, so right now, this is filling our entire screen. Perfect. Now, it's kind of a weird color and it's way too small. Let's first things first change the actual color. And this is a death scene, a death game. So you're dead. Let's make it all red. You're dead. Let's make it red. All right. So that is a clear indication to the player. It's going to be very easy to see right there. A nice red text. It's in totally the wrong spot and totally the wrong size. So let's now make it into, and it says totally the wrong thing. So let's first of all say game over, and let's make the font size into 100. That's not so bad. Font size 100. You guys can go through and make changes to that afterwards. Make changes to it if you need to. Make sure your font size is the right size. So great, we've got ourselves a game over script, a game over text. And let's change the name of it because we don't want to just call it text. Let's call this thing here game over text. All right, so having this game over text on the screen at all times, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. What we want to do is we actually want to add some animation to this. All right, we want to add some animation to our game over script. So I'm going to go down here to animation, and I'm going to say add a new property. All right, right away, just like before, it says, okay, wait a minute here. There's nothing here yet. So first things first, let's add a new animation. All right, let's do it. Let's call this idle. There's no reason not to. Let's call it idle. Doesn't matter what you guys call it. Let's call it idle, or let's call it game start. Maybe call it game start. Game start. All right. Game start anim. All right. Game start anim and save. Boom. And right away, just like everything else, as soon as we add that, we're going to get ourselves an animator and everything added. All right. Perfect. Animation is for text, it's for characters, it's for anything you want. All right, so we've added in our first property, the start anim function. All right, and we're just going to say we're just going to add in. Well, now we're going to add property, and let's add in our scale plus. Boom, and we're going to start off everything. This game, it's going to constantly be at a scale of 0. All right, I don't need this. I don't need that. I only need one keyframe, and that keyframe is saying I want this thing to be as small as it can. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to adjust my scale size to 0 and 0. All right, so right now my X and my Y scale are both set to 0, and you can't see the game over object anymore. Perfect. Stop. All right, that is our current state. So when we start off the game, and if we take a look at our animator, we're going to see that we start off the game in game start animate, and that is everything set to 0. Turn this off again. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right, we're in game start anim to start off with. Now, we want at some point in this game, we want the game over object to appear. So let's once again select our game over text, and let's add in a new clip. All right, and this is going to be called, let's call this game over anim. Doesn't matter what you guys call it. Let's call it game over anim. All right, and we're going to put this right here. Our game over anim is going to be a very simple animation. All right, once again, add property. Let's go in here and add our scale. Boop, our scale plus right there. And let's make this occur over 2 seconds. So let's move this all the way down to right there. We want our original scale. Everything's going to start off at zeros. So 0 and 0. That's our starting state. And let's say over I don't know, this much time. This much time? No, yeah, that's fine. This much time? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go in here and we're going to change our scale to, let's make our scale to much bigger. We're going to make it to 1.25, and we're going to make it into 1.25. So basically, our game over has, if we take a look and we scroll through this, our game over has started off at nothing. It's come up. It's gotten really big. And right about here, we want it to bounce down to slightly smaller. So at this point, I'm going to add in another keyframe, 0.9 and 0.9. All right. And then it's going to settle. So it's going to go wow, like that. A little tiny bounce. All right. If I stop this now and I just play, watch what happens. That's a little bit too slow, in fact. Yeah, it's a little bit too slow. I'm going to move all these things in. I don't need them way over here. Let's move these down to there. Let's move this one down to there. And let's move this one here down like that. That's going to give it a nice little bounce and settle. All right, let's try that. Boom, play. Still a little bit slow for my liking. Anyway, guys, that is... We're going to do this. We're going to have it bounce up right away and then settle. All right, perfect. That's what I like. All right, guys. So basically, this is what I want to happen. This is going to tell the character, or sorry, the player, that their game is over. All right. Turn off. Turn off. All right, so that's going to tell them that their game is over. We need a transition, which means we have to add in a parameter up here. Let's add in a parameter plus. It's going to be a trigger because we're only going to go one direction. So trigger it once and then it's going to be done. Let's call this thing here game over. Game over. All right, and we're going to add a trigger, a transition that goes from here, make transition, all the way over to the game over anim. Okay, from the game start anim to the game over anim. Click, right click, done. All right. In here, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our conditions for switching over, and of course, it's going to be the fact that game over occurred. So in code, we're going to say game over has occurred, and then boom, we're going to go through and play this animation. All right, so far, so good. So now what we need to do is we need to go, oh no, we forgot one thing. And I always forget this. I don't know why. Has exit time, boom, make sure it's turned off. Oh, and there's actually something else I forgot. A couple things actually. Double click. So I'm going into the game over animation right here. I don't want this to be looped. All right, so turn off loop. We want it to play once and then stop. Okay, so two things I forgot, sorry. I forgot to turn off has exit time, and I forgot to turn off loop. All right, so do those two things. This one here is looping constantly. Great. That's what we want to happen. This one here should not be looping. All right, sorry. With those two things in mind, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to taking a look at creating the code, the animation code. All right. So it's really easy to do. We're going to go in here. We're going to go back to our player health. All of this is going to occur in player health. We want to go to our HUD variables, and we want to add a public text. We can add text because we've already got our UI included up here. So we're going to add our text, and we're going to call this thing here. I don't know, game over screen. All right, we'll call it game over screen. And then we're going to actually make a call to our game over screen down here in our make dead. In the same place where we actually added the damage, we're going to actually make our in our make dead, we're going to actually call that same animation. Now, in order for us to call that animation, we're going to have a reference to the animator. So let's declare a new variable, animator, and we'll call it game over animator. All right, and let's set that equal to our, what did I call it? I just did it a second ago. Game over screen, our game over screen dot get component, and we're going to get our component, same way we've always done, get component, and we're going to get our animator. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so we're going to get our animator. Once we've actually got access to our game over screen animator, we can call the game over trigger. So let's do that. Game over animator dot, and we want to set trigger. Let's find the set trigger. Set trigger, and it was actually called game over. Game over. All right, in doing this now, we've set this trigger, it'll automatically set that animation off and running. So let's say file, save. Let's close this off for now. And when I say automatic, that's not true. I have to make a change first in my character. I have to go down to the player health script right here, game over screen text, and let's make sure that our game over screen text is our game over text. All right, boom. All right, now let's save that, file, save, and let's play. Let's see what happens now. As long as I've done everything right, jump, run, oh, jump. Let's run. Jump, dead. And the game over plays. All right, perfect. That's exactly what we want. So now the player at least knows, hey, my game is over. That's great, but that's not enough. Something has to happen after that. They have to either be able to quit or something, all right? What we're going to do is going to restart the game. Whenever the character dies, we're going to restart the game. Okay, so let's do that now. All right, it's really simple. What we're going to do, let's go back to our scene over here. We're going to create a brand new empty game object, and let's call this thing here the game manager. We'll call it the game manager. All right, let's reset it so it's at our zeroed position. Reset right there. It doesn't really matter where you put it. There's no visual component to this thing at all. It's basically just going to be a function. That's all it's going to be on here for now. So let's take a look at it. Let's add a component, a new script, and our new script will be called restart game. Let's call it restart game. Boom. All right, and let's open that up. Double click, get my stupid graphical error, shrink it, bring it back again, graphical error gone. All right, restart game. There's a couple of things we're going to need to do in here. First thing we're going to need to do, we're going to need a couple of variables. We're going to need a public, a float, and it's going to be called restart time. And this is the amount of time. We don't want to just instantly restart because it's going to be really jarring for the player if the game just instantly restarts. So we're going to let them stare at the game over screen for a minute, absorb their loss, and afterwards the game will restart. All right, so we'll call it restart time. It's a public variable. We'll leave it as 0 for now, and we'll just set that in the actual inspector later on. There is something else we want to start. We want to have a bool, and we're going to call this thing here restart now. And this is going to be set to false to start off with. And when it's time to actually restart the game, we're going to set that to true. And the last thing we're going to need is the time when we actually restart. So this restart time is going to be like, 5 seconds or 6 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. And this float reset time is going to be the actual time, like 5 minutes after you started your game. It's going to be an actual time that we use to reset. All right, so let's go down to the update. We're going to be checking something in update. We're going to be constantly checking if it's time to reset or reload our game. Okay, there's 2 conditions that have to be true in order for us to reset. The first one is if our restart now is true. So if restart now is true and double ampersand and our reset time, which is this one right here, our reset time is less than or equal to time dot time. All right, so if that's true, then we're going to reset this game. All right, let's close these off. And to reset, we're going to use a new function. All right, it's called application. All right, application. So it's referring to the application itself. Like this is only going to run. This is actually only going to run when we when we compiled everything. Application dot load level, not loaded level. Load level. Sorry, load level is going to be not equal to it. Sorry, it's taking in a single variable, and it's the current because we only actually have one. We actually only have one scene, application.loaded level. All right, so it's just restarting our current level. All right, if you didn't want to restart your current level, and let's say you wanted to go to another scene, like you wanted to go to an introduction scene again or whatever, that's what would go in here. But we only have just our main. That's all we've got actually in our game. We've only got one level, so we're just going to reload that level constantly. All right, that's what we want to do. If we're restarting now and the current time has passed, then reload our existing level. All right, now we're going to make one more function, and it's going to be a public, a void function, and it's going to be called restart the game, I guess. Doesn't matter. Restart the game, and what's going to go in here? First thing that happens, this is a public function, so it's going to be called by something else. Something else is going to call it and say, okay, I want to restart the game. So what do we know we have to do? We have to restart now, has to be true. So restart now is going to be equal to true. All right, so first condition met. The second condition is we're going to set our reset time, which is what we're looking at up here, equal to time.time, so our current time.time, plus our restart time, right there. That's all we're going to do. So we're going to make this call. It's going to set it equal to true. It's going to set our reset time, and it's going to continue to update. And once we hit these conditions, we're going to restart our game with this application load level. All right, file, save. Now, what we have to do now is call this guy. We have to call this thing here in our player health. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a variable that is going to reference. We're going to reference our restart game. Okay, so let's add it at the top. It doesn't really matter. Public restart start game. It's going to be a reference to that, and we'll call it the game manager. All right, so we're going to actually reference directly reference the restart the game function. All right, we're going to access that. So in here, we've got access to it, the game manager. Now what do we want to do? Down here, when we actually make the guy dead, we've already ran the actual animation. Let's call the game manager dot, and we're going to have our restart the game function. All right, boom. That's all we should need to do. All right, with that in place, it's going to go through, make the appropriate calls, and restart our game. Let's give it a try. File, save. As long as I've done everything right, that's all we should need to do. Play. Play. So far, so good. Let's go kill ourselves. Jump, jump, jump. Whoa, get out of the way. Jump! Boom. Game over, and reload the level for me. Reload the level. Oh, I forgot to do something. I forgot to actually give it, first of all, restart time. Let's give it 5 seconds. I forgot to actually fill in all my variables. Restart time of 5 seconds, and let's go into our player, our character, and find our health right here, and our restart game manager is our game manager. Drag it and drop it. Boom. File, save again, and let's try that again. Run, run, jump. Run, 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 jump. Boom. Game over, and restart in 5 seconds. Bam. All right, guys. So, perfect. That might be a little bit long. Maybe instead of 5 seconds, we can make it 2 or 3 or something like that. That was in my game manager. Let's make this not 5 seconds. Let's make this 3. A little shorter. All right, guys, that's it. We now have a losing condition for our game. We can't win yet, but we can lose. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are following along. I hope everything's going great. Let me know down in the comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments down below. And if you haven't done so, please take a few seconds to subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.